Episode 4. The First Lantern. 1 week after Parallax's transformation, the universe was holding its breath. Bruce Wayne sat in the Watchtower's conference room, surrounded by faces that ranged from supportive to suspicious. Superman, Wonder Woman, Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Guy Gardner, Kyle Rayner. Every Green Lantern of Earth, plus Jean and the rest of the League's founders. On the table between them, his ring pulsed with its new white-gold light. Let me understand this correctly. Hal's voice was carefully controlled. You merged with Parallax, transformed it into something called Ion, and now you're both, what, partners? Something like that. Bruce's voice was tired. He'd been fielding questions like this for days. Ion isn't Parallax anymore. It's what Parallax was before the Guardians corrupted it. The original entity of courage. And the Guardians are just supposed to accept this? The Guardians, a new voice interjected, don't have a choice. Ganthet appeared in a flash of green light, but his demeanor was different from every previous encounter. He looked diminished, uncertain. For the first time in eons, he looked his age. The transformation Bruce Wayne initiated has spread, Ganthet continued. Across the universe, beings who were once connected to the yellow or green lights are experiencing changes. The divide we created is healing itself. You mean the divide you inflicted? Diana said coldly. According to what Bruce has shown us, your people deliberately split a cosmic force because you couldn't control it. Ganthet's silence was admission enough. 3 billion years, John Stewart said quietly. 3 billion years of lies. The core, the oaths, the rings, all of it built on a foundation of fear. It was done with good intentions. The road to hell, Bruce interrupted, is paved with those. He stood, his transformed ring casting strange shadows. But I didn't call this meeting to relitigate history. I called it because something is coming. Something the Guardians' lie accidentally created. He waved his hand, and a holographic display formed. Not green, not yellow, but that new white gold that made everyone's eyes water slightly. When the original light was split, it created more than just will and fear. The energy that couldn't fit into either category had to go somewhere. The display showed a dark space between stars, filled with something that moved. It went here, into the bleed, the space between universes. What is that? Clark asked, leaning forward. The Guardians call it the Butcher, an accumulation of every courageous choice that the split light couldn't express. Every moment of bravery that had nowhere to go because will and fear were artificially separated. Bruce's voice hardened. It's been growing for 3 billion years, and now that the light is reunifying, it wants to come home. That sounds like a good thing, Kyle said hopefully. It would be, except that 3 billion years of isolation have made it insane. The display showed the Butcher more clearly. A mass of writhing red energy, neither will nor fear, but something in between. Twisted by eons of abandonment. It's not looking to reunify anymore. It's looking to replace, to become the only light in existence. Guy Gardner made a sound that was half laugh, half groan. So we saved the universe from Space Fear Monster, and now we have to fight Space Courage Monster? We have to face it, Bruce corrected. Fighting may not be possible. What do you mean? Bruce looked at his ring, at the white gold light that pulsed in rhythm with something vast and patient. Ion says the Butcher is too powerful to destroy. It's literally made of courage. Every act of bravery that should have existed but couldn't. Destroying it would mean destroying courage itself. Then what's the plan? Hal demanded. Bruce's eyes met Ganthet's. The plan is to finish what I started. Not just reunify will and fear, but add the Butcher to the mix. Recreate the original light completely. That's insane, Ganthet breathed. The energy involved. No being could channel that much power. One being couldn't, Bruce agreed. But I'm not planning to do it alone. The call went out across the universe. Not through the Green Lantern Corps' normal channels, but through something older. The pulse of the white gold light, calling to every being who had ever felt the connection between fear and courage. They came. From Tamaran, Starfire arrived, her solar powers resonating with the light in ways that surprised even her. From Thanagar, Shira Hole brought warriors who had never trusted the Guardians, but recognized something true in Bruce's call. From New Genesis, Orion descended, his war against Apocalypse having taught him everything about courage in the face of fear. Human heroes gathered too. Those without powers, but with wills that refused to break. Oliver Queen, Dinah Lance, Barbara Gordon, Ted Cord. Every person who had ever looked at impossible odds and chosen to fight anyway. And from the depths of space, other lanterns came. Not just green, but yellow as well. Sinestro's core, fractured by the transformation of Parallax, now seeking new purpose. Blue lanterns, whose hope resonated with the reunifying light. Indigo tribe members, whose compassion had always understood what the Guardians never could. They gathered on Oa itself, in the shadow of the central power battery that had been built on a lie. Bruce Wayne stood before them all, his transformed ring blazing. "You know why you're here," he said, and his voice carried to every mind. "The universe is about to break. The Butcher is coming, and when it arrives, it will try to become everything, to consume every light and leave only itself." He raised his ring. "But the Butcher isn't evil. It's just incomplete. Like Parallax was. Like the green light was. All of them are pieces of something that was never supposed to be divided." The white gold light expanded from his ring, touching every being present, connecting them. "I can't reunify the lights alone. No one can. But together, every lantern, every hero, every being who understands that courage comes from feeling fear and choosing action, we can become something the Guardians never imagined." He looked at Ganthid, who stood apart, his ancient face unreadable. "We can become what you should have been. Not masters of will or fear, but servants of choice. The choice that makes us more than our instincts. The choice that makes us heroes." The Guardians shifted uncomfortably. They had controlled the universe for eons. The idea of serving anything was anathema to them. But Ganthid stepped forward. 3 billion years ago, I was afraid," he said quietly. "Afraid of what the original light could do. Afraid of beings who could wield both will and fear. So I helped split it. Helped build a system based on control rather than trust." He looked at Bruce Wayne, this impossible human who had done what no Guardian ever could. "I was wrong." His ring, green, ancient, powerful, left his finger and floated toward Bruce. "If reunification is what the universe needs, then let it begin with me." The Butcher arrived at the worst possible moment. Space tore open above Oa, and something vast and red came through. Not a creature, not exactly, but a force. Every courageous choice that had been denied expression for 3 billion years, compressed into a single howling entity that wanted nothing more than to exist. It screamed across the telepathic spectrum, and everyone felt its pain. "I was supposed to be real. I was supposed to matter. But they split the light and left me in the dark. And now I'm going to burn everything until nothing is left but me." "Now," Bruce said, and every being present raised their lights. Green and yellow flared together, mixing into white gold wherever they touched. Blue hope and indigo compassion added their frequencies. Red rage from converts who had chosen redemption. Orange avarice from beings who had learned to want things worth wanting. The spectrum of emotion, reuniting for the first time since the Guardian's ancient crime. Bruce Wayne stood at the center, Ion's presence merging with his will, and reached out to the butcher. "You're not our enemy," he thought, broadcasting across every frequency. "You're our missing piece. You're the courage we've been fighting without." "You don't understand," the butcher raged. "I've been alone so long. I don't know how to be anything else." "Then let us show you." The reunified lights surged forward, not attacking, but embracing. Every being present channeled their understanding of courage, not the absence of fear, but the choice to act despite it. Bruce showed the butcher his parents' murder and what he'd built from that pain. Hal showed it years of self-doubt, overcome by determination. Sinestro showed it the love he'd once had for his world, before fear consumed him. Millions of minds, opening themselves to an entity that had been denied connection for eons. This is what I was supposed to feel? This is what you were supposed to be, Bruce thought. Part of something larger, not alone. Never alone again. The butcher's rage began to fade. Its red light shifted, softened, mixed with the whites and golds surrounding it. I don't want to destroy anymore. I just want to belong. Then, belong. Bruce Wayne opened himself completely. Not just to Ion, not just to the butcher, but to the entire spectrum. Will and fear and hope and rage and love and compassion. All of it flowing through a human mind that had spent 30 years learning to integrate what others kept separate. The original light reformed. Not in him. No single being could contain it. But through him, using his understanding as a template, his integration as a guide. When it was done, something new hung in the space above Oa. A light that contained all colors. A light that was choice itself. The moment between stimulus and response where free will lived. The light that the Guardians had feared so much they'd shattered the universe to suppress it. And at its heart, 3 entities merged into one. Ion and Parallax and the Butcher. Reunited after eons apart, becoming something that had no name, because it had never needed one. It was simply light, and it looked at the universe with eyes that had finally stopped being afraid. The aftermath was chaos. Every ring in existence flickered, died, and then reignited, but changed. The spectrum remained, but its boundaries blurred. Green Lanterns found they could generate yellow light when needed. Fear and will weren't opposites anymore, but partners. Different tools for different situations. The Guardians' control structures collapsed overnight. The central power battery wasn't necessary anymore. Every ring could now draw directly from the reunified light, which existed everywhere at once. Bruce Wayne floated in the debris field that had been Oa's defense grid, his body exhausted beyond anything he'd ever experienced. The light that had flowed through him was gone now, distributed across the universe where it belonged. But his ring remained, changed like all the others, but still his. Ion's voice whispered in his mind. "You did it. You actually did it." "We did it," Bruce corrected. "The Guardians are going to be very upset. The Guardians are going to have to adapt, like everyone else." Superman descended through the debris, his expression caught between awe and concern. "Bruce, what you just did was necessary." Bruce's voice was firm, despite his exhaustion. "The system was broken, Clark, built on lies and control. It needed to end." "And what replaces it?" Bruce looked out at the universe, at the reformed light that now pulsed in every living thing, at the spectrum of emotion that was finally complete, at the future that was suddenly, terrifyingly open. "Choice," he said. "What replaces it is choice." Clark was quiet for a long moment. Then, "The Guardians want to speak with you. Several of them are talking about putting you on trial for destroying the core." "The core isn't destroyed. It's evolved. And if the Guardians can't accept that, Bruce's new ring pulsed. And for a moment, Clark could see what it had become. Not just a weapon, but a symbol, a beacon. The same thing the bat had always been, now given cosmic scope. If they can't accept that, Bruce finished, they're welcome to try stopping me. Behind them, the light pulsed once. An affirmation, a promise, a warning. The universe would never be the same.